Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered who will be the first to truly conquer them? For decades, that question had a simple answer. Governments. The USA versus the Soviet Union, a clash of titans fueled by national pride and geopolitical strategy. But today, the answer is a whole lot more complicated. We're in a new space race, but this time, the players aren't just nations, they're billionaires. Welcome to the new frontier, where tech moguls with deep pockets and even deeper ambitions are launching their own rockets, planning missions to Mars, and building satellite empires. We're talking about Elon Musk's SpaceX, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, and Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic. These private companies are shaking up an industry that's been dominated by government agencies like NASA and Roscosmos for over half a century. The question is this a good thing? Are we witnessing the dawn of a new, faster, more innovative era of space exploration, or are we watching the cosmos get carved up by the ultra-rich? Let's dive in. To understand where we are, we have to look back at the original space race. Think of the 1960s. Every rocket launch was a national event, a symbol of power. NASA's Apollo program, which put a man on the moon, was a monumental achievement, but it came with a monumental price tag, funded entirely by taxpayers. The goal wasn't profit. It was to prove technological and ideological superiority. After the Cold War ended, the pace slowed down. Budgets for space agencies were cut, and ambitions were scaled back. For a while, it seemed like the grand adventure was on hold. Then, something changed. A new breed of entrepreneurs who made their fortunes in the tech boom started looking skyward. They saw space not just as a place for national prestige, but as a realm of immense opportunity. Elon Musk, famously, founded SpaceX with the singular goal of making humanity a multiplanetary species, starting with Mars. He believed the traditional government approach was too slow, too bureaucratic, and too expensive. So he decided to do it himself. And he wasn't alone. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, poured billions into Blue Origin with a vision of millions of people living and working in space. Richard Branson took a different approach, focusing on space tourism with Virgin Galactic, promising the thrill of a lifetime for those who can afford the ticket. Suddenly, the industry was buzzing with a new kind of energy, a Silicon Valley mindset of move fast and break things. Except in this case, the things being broken were launch cost records and long-held assumptions about what's possible. So, what are these billionaire-led companies actually doing that's so different? The biggest game changer is reusability. For decades, rockets were single-use. Imagine flying from New York to London and then throwing the entire airplane away. It sounds insane, right? But that's exactly how space travel worked. It was incredibly wasteful and expensive. SpaceX cracked the code. They developed rockets, the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, whose first-stage boosters can fly back to Earth and land themselves, ready to be refurbished and flown again. This single innovation has drastically slashed the cost of getting to orbit. It's made launching satellites, sending supplies to the International Space Station, and even flying astronauts cheaper and more frequent than ever before. NASA, recognizing this, has become one of SpaceX's biggest customers. Instead of building their own rockets for every mission, they now often hire SpaceX to do the heavy lifting. It's a fundamental shift from NASA being the sole operator to NASA being a client, a director of a grander cosmic orchestra. This public-private partnership model is a cornerstone of the new space race. NASA sets the long-term scientific goals, like the Artemis program to return humans to the moon, and then provides contracts to private companies to develop the landers, the rockets, and the hardware to get it done. It's a win-win, in theory. The government saves taxpayer money and fosters a competitive commercial market, while private companies get the funding and contracts they need to innovate and grow. Blue Origin, for example, is a key partner in the Artemis program, developing a lunar lander. It's a complex dance of competition and collaboration. But this new era isn't without its controversies and critics. For one, there's the question of priorities. While NASA focuses on scientific discovery and exploration for all humankind, private companies are, by nature, driven by profit. Will the pursuit of commercial interests, like space tourism for the wealthy or mining asteroids for resources, overshadow the pure scientific quest for knowledge? Some worry that space is becoming a playground for the rich, widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots on a cosmic scale. Then there's the issue of regulation and space debris. The area around our planet is getting crowded. Thousands of satellites are already in orbit, and companies like SpaceX with its Starlink project are launching thousands more to create global internet constellations. While this has the potential to connect underserved parts of the world, it also creates space junk. Old satellites and fragments from collisions zip around the Earth at incredible speeds, posing a threat to active satellites and future missions. Who is responsible for cleaning this up? How do we manage traffic in an increasingly congested orbit? The laws governing space were written in the 1960s and are struggling to keep up with this rapid commercial expansion. It's the Wild West, but in zero gravity. And let's not forget, governments are not standing still. China has emerged as a major space power. Their space agency has landed rovers on Mars, brought back samples from the moon, and is building its own space station, Tiangong. Unlike the US model of public-private partnerships, China's program is state-driven, reminiscent of the old Cold War approach. This creates a new dynamic of geopolitical competition, not just between the US and China, but also involving the private sector. India, the UAE, Japan, and the European Space Agency are all making significant strides too. The race is more crowded than ever. So where does this leave us? We're at a fascinating crossroads. The audacious goals of billionaires have undeniably accelerated the pace of innovation. They've made space more accessible and have reignited a public excitement for exploration that had been dormant for years. Their competition is driving down costs and pushing the boundaries of technology in ways that are beneficial to everyone, including government agencies. However, the rise of private spaceflight also raises profound questions about equity, responsibility, and the future of humanity's journey into the cosmos. Should space be a common heritage for all, guided by international cooperation and scientific goals? Or should it be an open market, driven by the ambitions of those with the vision and the capital to reach for the stars? The reality is, it will likely be a mix of both. The challenge for our generation is to find the right balance, to harness the incredible power and innovation of the private sector, while ensuring that space remains a domain for peaceful exploration and benefits all of humanity, not just a select few. The new space race is on, and the finish line is a future none of us can yet fully imagine. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about this new era of space exploration? Is it a step forward or a cause for concern? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the new space race, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.